I mean, we kind of pressed them a little bit, to be honest with you. All the guys just, hey, the install was done in the spring. Like we're not re-easing into this and filtering. Like where we left off, like that's our starting point, and like all those guys embrace it. And Will has like hit the ground running, and obviously from his techniques and what we're trying to do, and but just I know he's been vocal about wanting to be more of a leader and really being in the forward spot in a lot of things, and so it's just been really cool to watch him just really keep taking off from where we ended the spring. Excited.
Barnett's been a big part of kind of filling in whenever Will and Daniil aren't on the field. What does replacing him look like, and who are some of the guys that are going to be called upon to do that?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, we play a deep group in the D line. We rotate a lot of guys through, and obviously focus on our two starters that are very good players. So we've brought in a lot of guys between D-Rob and Dylan Horton's played some football for us, and some of the younger guys we've rolled in here. So we're working through in terms of just who's going to take some of those spots. Obviously, we lost some guys from last year's team, and trying to replace that depth is something that we're focusing on for sure. Like we've had a lot of different bodies roll through those spots, and again, like even last year we had guys called up and back and forth. So I think that's just part of what we do. We're continuously trying to build depth, especially in that room, because of the way we play and stylistically, like what we ask those guys to do. So it is important. It's important for us to be able to keep guys fresh and to keep Daniil and Will and those guys throwing fastballs through the whole game. So the depth piece is an important piece for us, and so I think we've got elements in place, and we're just going through. Again, we haven't had pads on yet, so we'll see hopefully next week that some guys start separating.
What has it been like adding Monte to that linebacker group, and what are some of the things you guys are very interested and excited to see from him?
Yeah, just obviously with another guy with a safety background, from college and some things. So in terms of like athleticism for the linebacker room, he's got great length. He's a smooth athlete, so just some things that we can do in terms of, we ask our linebackers to do a lot and to play in space, to match up with different body types on offense and those things. So has been a really good fit for us in terms of like the profile we seek. Really, uses his length to close windows and zones, like has some coverage from his DB background in terms of coverability and matchups and stuff. So again, another guy that's we're just keep building the bank of reps with, but excited to see him keep growing.
What progress have you seen from Caden McDonald from early OTAs to now? And
yeah.
Do you have a role sort of a vision for him already?
I wouldn't say we've carved out like specific roles. Obviously, like he's a big, strong man, and we want him to play big and strong. So that's a starting point for his role. And again, I've said this before, like all those guys, like just the techniques that we play are slightly different. So there's always a growth curve, and really laid a really good foundation and sort of like probably felt our expectations of, hey, this is what it's going to be like. So as we come back, again, another guy's hit the ground running. He came back a little bit early. We had the rookies back in a couple weeks, to sort of transition in. So I think my expectations are that his growth curve will be exponential. Once it's sort of like he gets it really underneath him, it's going to sort of take off, because you see the strength. I mean, you see him strike bags and stuff like that, and the things that the reasons we liked, we're high on him coming in. So I think once he masters the techniques and what we're asking him to do, it's really going to start to shine.
Matt, when it comes to Kalen Bullock and some of the things he's doing, where do you see Kalen kind of taking it up another notch as he heads into the season?
Yeah, I think Kalen's been another guy that's been intentional and been vocal about like working in different spots and expanding his game, if you will, in terms of like, I'm not just going to be a deep player. And so, and bringing Reed in with him and trying to like be interchangeable and sort of multidimensional there. So he's really worked a lot on just playing some stuff down low or playing some man techniques, some things that we haven't necessarily asked him to do or hasn't been in those spots a lot. He's trying to sort of expand his repertoire a little bit. So I think, we know what he can do and some of the stuff that we've asked him to do before, but trying to see what else we can do. And again, anytime you can sort of move guys around and put them in different spots, it just helps with your matchups and disguises and anything that we're doing. So he's again, the group's been really good, man. They've come back with intent and with purpose, and it's been a really good start to the camp so far. Go ahead.
Man, has that been, last year you had a opportunity to do it defense last year, and you're talking about the expansion of some of those guys that are all coming back. Is that sort of like the difference of differentiate this year? And we really add on it, or you would just move it up because
Yeah.
add on
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I think we've all talked like you can't rest on your laurels. Like last year doesn't matter. That was cool. Obviously, we had a great season and really enjoyed that. But like that doesn't matter. And we've got and you can't stay the same in this league. Everyone's watching our tape and trying to figure out poke holes in it and trying to figure out how to attack us. And we've got to be ahead of that curve. So I think the more that we just try to keep put on these guys to expand and do more. And can we change this? Can you do something else? Like the more we can expand that out. Not that we're not a defense that tries to do a lot of wild stuff, but the more that we can interchange players and do different things, the better it's gonna help us in the long run for sure.
Obviously, you all lost ESP earlier, Jake, with some of the injury. You know, as you all look to see who can be like regular contributors, maybe at that linebacker spot or even somebody else, what are y'all looking for? What did you see from the guys who were being?
Right. Yeah. Sure. I mean, again, like I would say, I'm not dodging questions here. Like I would say, like especially that room as a linebacker, right? Because the communication is so integral. Like they're sort of a lot of everything, right? They're playing the run game, they're dropping, they're doing those things. Like a lot of times, like there's a lot of preseason and scrimmage work, live stuff that really matters as much as anything, right? So we built. I mean, that's probably as deep a room as we've had since we've been here. I know we've had a couple guys have suffer some injuries, but I think the whole group as a unit has got some good depth to it. And again, it's another thing I think it's early in camp to like start anointing people or doing anything else. But and you know how we operate. We're going to get all those guys reps at different positions. You know, so even some of the young. I mean, we talked about Tay, like Wade and Aiden have come in and done a really good job. You know what I mean? And Scoob has missed some time and is kind of coming back. So there's a lot of those guys that were like working through all those spots. And again, when it sort of settles in terms of which positions work and kind of, again, linebackers as much of a big picture position as anything. So I think once we kind of get into some real action and see how those guys operate, when live bullets are flying, then we'll have a better idea of where that group's going. Sorry, one more time. Yeah, he's explosive. He gets off. He's a tough kid. He's shown up a little bit. Oh, we got some action out there, huh? He's done a good job early on. Again, it's going to be consistency with all those young guys, with him especially, but just, he's flashed a lot of, like, he's got some movement skills. He played on the edge a little bit in college and had some flex to him. So, but I've been impressed with the kind of the get off and the toughness that he's shown early in camp.
We're going to talk about precision on yesterday and how you all are making that more of an emphasis this year. When you look back and you look at some of the tape from some of the film from last year, where can you see that where you all can improve as far as that precision, being in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure. I would just say it's the consistency of, like, not joke, not to be arrogant. Like, I don't think playing physical is our problem. Like, I don't think playing effort's our problem. So when we've given up a play in the past, it's been because of us. Like, we weren't on something, or we missed a check, or we missed a detail, or someone played the wrong leverage or got out of the gap. Like, it's never been like, oh, that guy got us or they just handled us. That's pretty rare, I would say, for us. I think we have a pretty talented group. So the emphasis is saying, like, if we are every play in and play out consistently, precise, exact, where we're supposed to be, communicating, doing everything we're supposed to do, like, what does that look like? Like, if someone beats us and when we're doing all that, then kudos. But, like, I think that's going to be pretty hard. You know what I mean? So, like, instead of us, oh, we had 58 great plays, but these 5, man, we were just a little bit off on something. We stepped wrong. I mean, and sometimes it's as subtle as that, right? You step outside your framework as a D-line, now you get hatted in your gap, and then we give up a run. You know what I mean? Can we take that out of our game? So I think the precision's like, and again, as you guys know, right, like today's practice, right, a little bit more of a jog through-y, whatever you want to call that tempo. We have those night practices. So, like, you're not necessarily getting all the physical work. It's not old school 2 days full pads banging heads every day. So, like, what are you getting out when we're in the bubble and we're in a precision check or in a walkthrough setting? Like, can you be exact so that you build that bank of reps as you move forward in the season?
Frank, I want to talk about this a little bit, inside-outside capability. I know he missed some time in the spring. Now that he's getting back into it, what do you see for him in his role? Obviously starting inside, but maybe be able to slide out a little bit.
Yeah, we're honestly, I would say, and probably this can go for a lot of people, like, we're not going to limit his role. I don't know if that makes sense. Like whatever he can handle, we'll let him handle. So he's kind of working his way back into things, as you guys have seen. I'm excited for him. Like I was excited when we signed him. I was really high on him in the draft when he came out 4 years ago, and I was in Arizona. So there's a lot of potential, a lot of hope. So I think we're going to load his plate. Kind of, we talked about the linebackers and some of those other guys, Kalen. Just we're going to put a lot on his plate and see kind of again where the best fit is and where he can help this team win ball games. But excited to kind of ramp him up and get him going for sure. Cool. You guys.
How's it going, guys? Good seeing y'all.
To trying to take the offense up a notch, and
Yep.
we talked in the spring about things you feel like you could do more with, 12 personnel, 13, all that stuff. How do you feel like now you're being able to implement those things, those goals?
Yeah, I think we got a healthy team right now, and really trying to utilize everybody we can, and push the needle from where we left off in spring. Not just changes and tweaks to some of the offensive schemes, but in addition, some of the stuff maybe we didn't get a chance to quite get to at the end of OTAs, still implementing those things. Usage of more, all of our personnel groups, for a variety of reasons. Obviously, get those guys on the field. I believe in being multiple, mixing those groups, and then obviously trying to get some guys in different spots and see what they can do, so we can evaluate them, give them a chance to do more.
Speaking of usage, you have David Montgomery and you
Yep.
have Woody Marks, and I know what that could look like for you on paper, but
Yeah.
on the field, how much do you see that envision of even playing some together?
Oh yeah, I mean they're both really good players, and they both had really good off-season programs for us. So yeah, I plan on using them to say the least. But I mean they've done a good job just in the short term in training camp, but saw a lot of growth in the spring too from both of those guys, and I think they've done a really good job of just improving Woody from year 1 to year 2. But same with Jaws, same with Britt, and then obviously Demo, he's all business, man, and he's a really good he's a really good player. He's grounded as a runner, but he's a very good pass game player, and he's tough as nails in protection. So those guys have really fed off each other and just really pushed the needle and helped each other improve. I'm excited about them. I really am.
Part of effort has been placed upon.
Yeah, I missed the first part. I'm sorry.
How much of an assertive effort has been placed upon executing the screen game a little bit better this year?
The screen game?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're repping them, and I would say, like, just in year 2 alone, the frequency and pace of the volume of install has picked up drastically, so that's a big deal. I mean, anyway we get an opportunity to complement some of those things and get guys to touch the ball in a variety of ways, that's what we'll certainly try to make a concerted effort to do that, and we have.
Typically, when you've seen an offense get put in,
Yep.
is year 2 the conversation about stuff pre-snap? Is that typically something that hangs around into year 2?
I'll be honest.
It's been a big conversation point, emphasis. for you guys.
Sure, and I know where this question's coming from. I haven't been truly in year 2 at any place. I'd be making that up. No, so I came into New England. They were established. I didn't see what year 2 was. LA, I was there in 2023. Sean had been doing his thing. So everybody that I've spoken to, from a college standpoint, when I was coaching on defense, I've been a part of year 2s. There is definitely a higher level of understanding, the expectations, fundamentally. You got a year of being, just completely entrenched in those meetings, practice reps, et cetera. So yes, the answer is from everybody that I've talked to and I've seen from my defense experience, 100%. And I've seen that now. I feel that now. Phase 2, year ago, you're teaching, what basic information is. What are some of the core routes? And then you're integrating, a handful of concepts a day. Phase 3, you build on. I mean, this year, it was more than double in terms of the frequency. And that's a testament to our players, too, and our coaches doing a good job. But they did a great job of absorbing it, studying it, staying ahead, and going out here and bringing it to life on the field, and we got an opportunity. And it's the same thing, Cody, that we've seen here in training camp. This training camp's more situations mixed in earlier, I would say, than last year in terms of total situations, and definitely higher volume. And they've done a hell of a job of, staying on top of it and working through it.
Talking about the process of the huddle and getting plays in and
Yep.
stuff, what is like the responsibility of, say, the coach and the players from when you call a play, CJ getting the
Yep.
guys in and the other guys? Like, how is that responsibility kind of divided up?
Well, I get the call in, okay, based on the down distance, the field position, the situation. Everybody's got to get to the huddle. We got to get our subs in. So I'll communicate personnel once I know what the call is. We got to get in if there's a change in personnel. Okay, quarterback is in the huddle. We got 11 in the huddle. He'll now recall and start to give the play to the players, okay? And then we've got to do a good job of breaking, getting out of the huddle, getting our feet set. That's the basic process that we go through, and that's what we've tried to enhance and just do a better job of just being more efficient, getting in and out of the huddle with better urgency, being mindful of getting that thing in earlier too. And I thought we did make a lot of progress from that standpoint throughout the season. We really did. The thing that killed us last year, as you guys all know, you guys asked me 1,000 questions, and I get where they're coming from, but like the pre-snap penalties and that shit, like that, there's no place for that. So we're on a crusade to eliminate those things every single day. Not where we want to be. Still have too many things here and there, but we're making progress, and we're working hard at it. And you know, I think our communication has definitely improved.
I guess like the self-evaluation of it, like you go back and say, well, I thought I got the play in time, and do you and CJ kind of have a conversation
Yep.
of like, well, what went wrong here? How do you fix that?
Yeah, you first of all, you ask what the problem may have been, okay, whatever that may be, and then we just work to try to improve that from, again, a timeliness standpoint, trying to get in earlier from me to him, getting the guys in the huddle, and then being able to get them locked in so that we can get the play called. And then there's a variety of things. Is it crowd noise? Sometimes a guy might need it again. Sometimes things get shorted out. Okay, sometimes there's a switch in personnel that might delay if I want to switch. But those are all things that we try to clean up as we go, you know, to answer your question.
How are you seeing things different with Jerry Shaplinski coaching C.J. Stroud, at least early on, and what do you hope the impact is of him on season?
Yeah, no, I mean, so Jerry obviously was here, obviously with us last year, really handling all the meetings. You know, he's handling all the meetings, doing a really good job. You know, he has a great relationship with that room. I mean, he's a really good teacher. He's very practical. He's very even-keeled. He's a great listener as well, and has a great relationship with those guys. So I've known Jerry for a while. Jerry's as steady as they come. He's extremely bright, and he's extremely humble. And I appreciate, you know, everything that he's about and what he brings to our staff, and I'm quite sure the quarterbacks do too.
Nick, your players are telling us they expect a more explosive offense
Sure.
this year. How do you make that happen, and how does that help you when you don't have to drive in 12, 10 plays to get it into the
Oh, sure. Well, obviously the hunt for explosives reduces the drive, the chances of scoring go up. Okay, you hit it. You alluded to it. The biggest thing is, to me, okay, it's all 11, all right? It's getting a good play call in, okay, with what our expectations are based on certain down and distance situations, field zones, et cetera. And then really it's all 11. And like I think a lot of people, okay, explosive, just chucking the ball down the field. To me, those come in a variety of ways, all right? In the run game, it's all 11 for all of these explosives. We've got to be able to get a hat on a hat. We got to know the intent of the play. The back's got to make a proper read. Okay, he's got to be decisive. We got to get connected on the second and third levels, and we got to be able to set guys up and learn how to be able to play in space and get extra yards after contact, et cetera. And it's the same thing in the passing game. Okay, if you're talking about catch and run opportunities, same thing. That's where your ability to make guys miss. That's where the timing and being able to go through your progressions comes into play. And we talk about hunting up truly shots, okay, down the field throws, protection, okay, being able to solidify that, being able to get proper depth, being able to read coverage the proper way, not just the quarterback, I'm talking skill players too, if there's an option on certain routes, et cetera. And then obviously, again, like we're all of us working together, and I think the cleaner we can be, all right, the more consistent we can be, you'll see those start to manifest themselves as well.
On that note, Nick,
Yeah.
what type of versatility do you have with this tight end group, with guys, how you can plug and play them in
Yeah.
different situations and stuff?
Yeah, we got good versatility. We have a healthy room right now. And what I like about the tight ends, they're all conscientious. They're all tough. They all see the game. They all take a lot of pride in being on the same page and seeing it through the same set of eyes, starting with mic declarations, communication to distribute blocks, activating maybe a hot or a sight adjustment in the pass game. They've been very conscientious about that. And they also give us some versatility to be able to play in YY wing sets, to be able to extend, to move guys into different positions, to facilitate two back run structures or two back presentations. So we've been working through a lot of different things. I'm very pleased with the progress they've made from top to bottom. James has done a really, really nice job with that room. So you got to keep growing, got to keep challenging, got to keep putting a lot on them and stressing us out for the right reasons, and then be able to kind of solidify some things and refine things as we go.
Back on the field today for practice.
Yeah.
What does that process look like to working him back into the
Oh, man.
field?
It brings joy. It brings joy to me. I mean, he's got, you guys know, he's got such a spirit about him. And I know he's worked really, really hard. and getting him out there and getting an opportunity to integrate himself, based on his plan has been great, and just keep bringing him along. But I mean, he brings a smile to my damn face every single day when I see him. You know how he is. He's awesome.
Do you have a specific role in mind for him, or you just kind of want to let the process flow?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see his body of work speaks for itself. I think he's got good versatility. He can move around. He can build speed. He can do a lot of different things. He's got a versatile route tree, and he's highly competitive. So, I don't see a lot of restrictions on him.
How is his ball? Keelan is coming along, playing a position he didn't play in college.
Yeah, he's tough and he's smart, and he's his hardest critic. Sometimes you got to tell him, hey, man, I got it. Like, we just move on. But there's a lot on that guy's plate, the center in general, as you know. But he's doing a hell of a job. Cole does a great job with him. He's locked in. He's pushing himself every single day, and I just see continuous growth. And as long as, there's going to be mistakes for all of us, it's about continuous improvement, eliminating repeated mistakes and moving forward. And I see a lot of growth that's happening. I mean, he's all business, baby. I mean, he's all business, all ball, locked in, and I'm glad he's here.
I was talking to Keelan yesterday about getting reps at center and guard and what the biggest difference is. And he said, look, at center, you're the main guy kind of directing everything. And at guard, you're just more about receiving that message and executing. But from your standpoint, is the biggest challenge going to be communication or the detail of technique as far as, snapping the ball and making sure, it's a game of bench, it's a game of half a second if you're late getting off and getting back to blocking and stuff. What's the biggest challenge there between
I would say just the mental piece of setting the table, I think it's obviously an uptick of responsibility than obviously playing guard. Communication is big for all of them, but exactly what you said is exactly what it is. So I think that piece of it, getting reps, which he did in the spring, which we're doing now, okay, that'll start to slow the game down the more reps we get into it. The physical piece, the great thing about, I would say, the way that we teach the fundamentals here, and Cole and I have a long history, and he does a great job, is there's not 1,000 different things we're trying to do. It's consistent, repeated execution of block technique and footwork. We're not trying to have 1,000 different things. So there is some carryover. Stance will change a little bit at center, certainly, than guard, but there's more carryover than you would think fundamentally.
Real quick, two-part on two rookies. On Keelan, what did you think when he blocked Aziz, Pro Bowl backer, and basically took him down? And just what have you seen from Marlon Klein so far? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's aggressive. So, you obviously want to keep our feet in certain situations, but it's easier to pull that back, in terms of but you never want to take that aggressiveness out of him. That's why we love that style of play, and we covet that. And Marlon, I'll tell you, he's a talented kid. He works his ass off. He's got a big runway out in front of him. Big, tough, can build speed, good catch radius. Just trying to put him in positions to be able to get a lot of reps at the techniques that we're trying to get, and there's a lot at that position. I mean, you're involved in run game communication, okay, sub runs, base runs, extended from the formation. You're involved in pass protection. You're involved in route detail, route running, and not just inside the formation either. So we're bringing him along. He's working his ass off. He's doing a really nice job. I'm excited for those guys. Just keep it going.
We talked a lot about who plays and who doesn't. What goes into the process and who you lean on, who makes the decision of who is on the field on offense and who isn't?
Yeah, I think, from the top down, D'Amico's the head coach. So ultimately, like when we talk, we always talk roster. It's a continuous conversation, throughout the year. And then I think, the guys that play are the guys that earn opportunities through showing that they can do it on the field and being consistent with that. And we're trying to, find the most consistent, competitive group that we can put together, and that's through the body of work that you put out there. And so trying to take those things from the meeting to the field, seeing what it looks like on the field, and letting us have as much competition as we can. And then I think, like anything else, in my experience, I believe that it'll manifest itself over a wide body of window here in the, call it in the next month here in training camp. But we'll always have conversations about that as a staff. And then certainly there's input. We talk as a staff offensively in our room just about the growth and the development of the guys. But then we talk as a big picture organization too with D'Amico.
Yesterday, David Montgomery talked about how, where the defense is.
Yeah.
As far as, when anybody talk about Houston Texans, they talk about the defense first. They want the offense to be able to match that, at least into that top 5, top 7.
Yep.
When you took a step back after last season, or this offseason, what did you see where you can improve and how much you can help CJ improve, especially in this offense? Maybe him being able to do some of the things just off of basic natural instinct.
Yeah, I mean, I think like just as a big picture. Are you asking just from a big picture offensive perspective too? Yeah, eliminating self-inflicted penalty or wounds, penalties, pre-snap errors. Okay, eliminating that. Like, don't beat ourselves. All right, playing with a quieted mind and being able to out there and execute at a high level. Okay, and that is playing clean football and doing it consistently. That was our challenge last year. We needed to be more consistent, and that's been the charge all offseason. Like, we're not going back and living that world. Okay, play clean. Play with great fundamentals, play with precision and great execution, and be able to cut it loose. And then when you talk about with CJ, just the comfort level, as we went through a year and you have more and more dialogue and more time on task and more exposure, try to find the things that we do well that suit our players that he's comfortable with. There's not anything that we put in a game plan. We talk throughout the week during the season, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and those quarterbacks will know too, especially in that room, that it's an open forum. They have the right, and to voice any comfort level with this play. I love this play. I'm not as comfortable with this play, and here's why. Can we tweak this? Can we, and we communicate, and that starts with communication, and that's what it is, and understanding each other, and we work really hard on that. Like, I got a great relationship with CJ. I love the guy. He's worked really hard this spring, and just trying to continue to build it and tailor it and just be more comfortable as a unit and have great dialogue and good communication and be transparent about things. So,
And from a play calling standpoint,
yeah.
when you look back at some of
Yeah.
the games, did you say to yourself, I could have made a better call here?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's a handful of calls every single game. I was told this a long time ago by a mentor of mine. Like, you're going to want back. Like, it's about learning from those opportunities. It's about looking at the big picture and how can I grow and how can I learn. So I'm always trying to do that. I don't have any ego in this, and trying to put our guys in the best position to be at our best. And that's what we're trying to do always. Yeah, no, thank you, man. You got the nicest hats, man. You always got good gear.
Hi, everybody. What's up, Coach? Man, football's back in the algorithms. Let's go. Fired up. Good to see you guys. Fired up for training camp. First special teams meeting today in about 15 minutes, so let's rock. You guys go ahead and start.
What do you see from these guys? I know it's really early. And do you use the preseason games maybe even a little bit more than practice performances? How do you figure out who's your punter?
Yeah, great question. You kind of answered it a little bit. Man, when the lights are on, you're going to see who's performed the most. Always going to be fleshing things out on the practice field grass. We need to improve quickly, but both Kai, Kroger, and Jack Stonehouse have done a good job to this point. Look, I'm not going to decide the punting battle. The play is going to decide the punting battle. So as we're just a couple things we're looking for there, Aaron, is just consistency, being a great holder, being great in the midfield area, controlling field position. So fourth down's job is to make sure we give ourselves long field, being consistent at that position. Excited for the opportunity for both of those young guys and good people making our room better. Excited.
How does Jake Hummel fit into your plans? Haven't seen him the last couple of days. Is he still a part of the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a group of linebackers with, even though like Wade Woodaz is youthful, right? Aiden Fisher's youthful. Jake Hummel, Jake Hansen, Tay Mapu, Scoob, Jamal Hill, excuse me. You guys know him as Scoob yet? Yes. Okay, it's Scoob, okay? So you can just refer to Jamal as Scoob. But like all those guys right now, that's a good-looking group of special teams play linebackers. Hummel was somebody when we played against him. I've said this before, when we played against him, he was somebody that we knew, like, we better take care of this guy. He was a problem. So could not be more excited to have him here. Yeah, we've got a couple of Jakes with some jaw lines to be running down the middle of the field. I'm fired up for those guys. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
As we watch these special team drills, there's an instant urgency to this. I don't know if violence is the word that you want. How much can you set the table for what you want special teams to be when we watch these daily drills that are 5-7 minutes at a time?
Yeah, I like the evaluation. Violence, urgent, definitely. I got put on my backside day one. Was fired up about that. Hot stove, you got to pop up though, okay? And I even have expressed this to our guys in the team. Like right now, this part of the year, you all will see more fundamental drill work more than in any training camp we've seen. I've got some competitive drill work when the pads come on, a couple of those war days, as I like to call them. Let's separate the oil and the water. There are going to be some pretty aggressive moments. I want that. I want that early. I want that often for our group. And I think that we played a lot of good football, and we've got a lot of veterans, et cetera. I want those guys that are young, that are going to play for us, to understand the violence, the speed, the urgency of fourth down early. So I want that to happen early on for them. You're going to see a lot of that fundamental training this training camp. So hopefully I get put on my backside a few more times. Go ahead.
Frank, you already addressed about the young punters, the legs and everything, but the nuances, the phenomenon of the punt is that central part of Cain and his success. Which one of those, how much of that evaluation would, who's able to make the hole and make the snap? Because it's got to be unquenchable, move fast. How much of that goes into either one of those guys who will be in that spot too as well?
Yeah, if it's not there, then it's a fatal mark in the skill set, and it can't happen. You can't be the punter. So part of your job description as the punter is to be, your goal is to be the best holder in the NFL. Precision. Coach D'Amico Ryans, everything we do is precision. When you talk about field goal operations, that's points, that's winning games. At the end of it, it should come down to number 15's foot. Got to have somebody that can hold it on repeat in all elements, dealing with any adversity or snap location or variabilities possible. So in sum, yeah, it's going to be a big part of whoever wins that job for us.
Does training camp allow you to experiment with some returners that maybe haven't done return stuff with you before? Saw Xavier Hutchinson do some stuff the other day.
Yeah.
And then what are you looking for when a guy's kind of new to that, but you're giving him the chance?
Yeah. A 90-man, we're going to work a lot of people. We're going to work a lot of people in the 90-man. And anybody who's a big body, we mentioned in the spring, a big body ball handler that can run with speed, we're going to train and develop you, flush out some of those mistakes early. We want those early so we can clean them up, address them, and, when we get to the season, capitalize. So excited for Woody, excited for X, Xavier. DJ Turner just got here, Jawar Jordan, all of our running backs. Those guys are going to be fielding kickoffs. And as we develop, not only the kick returners, but punt returners in that depth chart as well. I want to be explosive. So, man, if we can be a 7-yard punt return team and then fall forward for 3 more, that's a first down. If we can get to the 32 and fall forward, you just jumped. You're going to score 1 out of every 3 or 2 possessions if you're past the 35. That's a big deal. So we want as many ball handling opportunities and really find out who can flush out their skill sets now.
Along those same lines, when you're talking about returning, how do you teach some of these defensive guys who are used to hitting how to block?
Yeah. Got any advice for me? Yeah. I think everybody in this room has heard this before. A lot of special teams play is want to, and is effort. And that's what, is going to be a key marker. Guys, you got to strain. And I'm not going to let that person that I'm blocking get to the ball carrier. We're going to develop those techniques by making sure our eyes are in the right spot and our body position. You cannot play football with your feet in the wrong spot. So, yeah, the defensive guys, they need some more training. When you see me post-practice out there putting in some extra off-the-clock hours, a lot of defensive guys, and they're getting their feet right. Foot positioning, eye discipline for a defensive player, and then strain. We'll be okay.
Is that what all entails and what Coach Ryan talked about yesterday as far as precision is concerned?
When I little secret of the trade, but when you're going to route me up and you're going to give me the shake and the arm movement and the head nod, if I'm looking at that, I'm off. I got to stare right at the inside digit jersey number of your belly button because that can't move. That's your center mass. That can't move. And I'm hopefully having that eye discipline with precision. And that might keep my leverage just enough for our returner to get through. I'll calm it down.
With the dynamic pickup rules setting in a little bit this offseason, do you have a chance to reassess the plans you want to have for that?
Yeah, great question. Always trying to get creative, invent, and learn from kind of the rear view mirror a little bit. But you know, at the end of the day, if we just body on body, we need to be executing with precise across the board. And, man, the players are the ones on the grass doing it. So you could just man up if you wanted to every play. And if you're a really well-trained team that cares, that believes in the guy behind you running, like we do with guys like Jalen Knoll and Woody and X and Tank and whoever else is back there, I'm good with that. Let those guys go play football. That's what good coaches do. They're the ones playing. We get a front row seat.
Kaimi, what do you see from Kaimi this year as he sort of builds his legacy and make a lot of pictures?
Yeah. That's the first. Yeah, that's a strong word, the word legacy. And, you know, Houstonians should be proud of Kaimi Fairbairn. And because of the person, because of the work, because of the consistency, and what I've noticed, the 2 words for you about Fairbairn for this year, the leadership, and the competitive. So he'll challenge his teammates more than the quiet kid out of Punahou High School from a decade ago. Proud of him. Excited to see him this year. We all should be.
With the punting position, it felt like Tommy was pretty consistent in Cam before him, and now you have an undrafted guy and a guy who last year played, and it was what it was. How big of a deal is that when it comes to punting? Because I think we kind of overlook it, but how big of a void is that to replace Tommy? And you haven't had to worry about that, it feels like, for most of the time. So how big is it for you?
Yeah, and I think a blessing in disguise, an analogy was we replaced a snapper, and that took a lot of effort and time on task. It's going to be the same thing, and we want to be great. We love the challenge, but you'll notice the blemishes first, right? You guys all notice when it's you know, a 22-yard net first. So that consistency is everything. It's a big challenge. It's a tall task. You got to put a lot of work and effort to get there. Our goal and my job as, you know, the leader of that position group is to understand the assignment, go execute it, and making sure that we're growing every day. They understand this game is so precious. It is such the margin of error are so slim. It is such a pressured situation that nobody really thinks about. It's water off a duck's back if you're just in the stands. But, man, we need to execute at a high, and that's a premium. You give our Texans defense a long field, we can play some ball. You give our offense a short field, we can play some ball. That punter's going to have a lot to do with it. We don't take that lightly. It's good. Welcome back, everybody. See you guys.